Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature number 113, Magic of the Horseshoe by Robert Means Lawrence. A full-length work, 252 pages, and quite in-depth, extremely interesting to me while reading through it and editing. It's like a huge amount of information. It's not just about the horseshoe, it's folklore in general. It's subtitled with other notes on folklore. As always, link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon, second link to my books blog. If you're interested in folklore, I am going to be creating a new category which is just for folklore and cryptozoology. I've got to release one more work before I can do that because I think there are 5 in total already that would fit under that general heading. I want to have a 6th work. I'm going to have a couple more herbals fairly soon. I've got my the illustrator that I'm working with working on those as we speak. So there are big things in plan. The 10th category will soon be added for better navigability, honestly, on the blog. Now, this particular work ruminates about the first 2/5 of the work or so is on the horseshoe, the symbolism behind it, the origins of its use as a symbol of good luck, and of other things, of protection against witchcraft, against demons, good luck in the sense of it's actually intertwined. At one point it's mentioned the mountain ash used in Welch and other paths. You plant one near your home and it either stops, depending on who you ask, it stops witches from bewitching the house, it stops lightning from striking the house, or it stops ill fortune in general. It's actually tied into the same similar tradition as that. It then delves into the use of salt within a magical context. Of course, you know, in some families, if someone drops the salt, if someone spills salt, they throw some over their shoulder. The idea is to blind the devil or again, prevent being bewitched. It goes into great depth on that, the origins, again, of that use, to give somebody being worth their salt in the antiquated concept within Rome, literally meant to get one's pay, of course, to earn one's keep. Because people were paid in salt back then, it was worth more than gold as a seasoning, as a preservative, and so forth. Salt was far more valuable than almost anything else they had. Maybe a purple dye of the era, the Tyrian dye, would be the only thing that was more expensive by weight, really, than salt if it was pure back then. It goes into a little bit of the folklore of that. It also goes into a little bit of the numbers games, the sort of the odd days being lucky or unlucky, the lucky or unlucky days of the month and week of the year, lucky and unlucky months, phases of the moon sort of stuff, goes into a little bit of numerology there. Talks about the omens that are coupled to that, and then it also covers, interestingly enough, sneezing as an omen, as either a prognosticator of health or good fortune, bad luck. It goes a little bit into the sort of Greek and Roman pantheons as they overlap with luck in general. It's just a very in-depth work, and it doesn't limit itself. Some works from this era and modern works as well, they limit themselves to one time period or to one culture or region. This work, because of its manufacture, as an academic sort of overview, broad overview of these pieces of folklore in general. It talks about the Hindu regions, India, now we know it as, not the Hindu Kush, a little bit of Arabia, the Islamic tradition, the Jewish tradition, African tribes, Mesoamerica. Certainly talks a lot about medieval and antiquated Europe, Rome, Greece, Egypt, it's all there. It's just extremely in-depth. It's actually one of the best works on folklore that I've ever read, so it definitely comes highly recommended. Again, link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon, a second link to my books blog. If it's folklore you're into, there are other titles there that are available, but it might be worth waiting until I actually fully organize them into sort of their own category, because right now they're all more or less under the academic heading, which makes sense, but at the same time, it's sort of distinct from other types of academic works. It's sort of its own category, along with cryptozoology. This work as well, in closing here, also contains a fairly lengthy expose on animals within a spiritual context. You know, the black cat crossed your path sort of stuff, but it goes further than that, literally into sort of the medieval tendency of certain European groups to put animals on trial if they did something wrong, sort of rooted back in the biblical tradition. Oh, if your oxen gores someone, you'll stone the oxen. The sin is upon it, sort of stuff. That's about all. Peace out.